Hello, students of Quick Fans. Let's teach you how to uncomplicate your hand-making fan journey, and I'm going to show you how to be creating the most beautiful fans you've ever created in just a couple of steps. I'm going to be giving you my tips and tricks and product recommendations along the way. So buckle up, it is going to be easier than you think. This is not going to be a bumpy ride at all. Lay your strip down. If you're new to hand making your fans, I recommend two things. Working with a soft curl, so a C curl, nothing like an M, a C, or a D. We're going to work with those later on. And work with a long length fiber. I always start my students off with 15s, 14s, or 13s, and we work our way all the way down to those little single length lashes. If you can see what you're doing working with a longer lash, it's going to be a lot easier for you when you work with shorter length lashes, but it's the exact same process. I'm going to be lightly and delicately brushing through my fibers. I don't want to yank these off the strip, so I'm delicate with them because these are very lightly packed onto the tape strip. Next, we are going to pick our weapon. You have 3 tweezers to choose from. You have the Sweetie, the Katie, and the Maddie tweezer. Few similarities, all these tweezers share a crystal tip. Crystal tip for the perfect grip technology. This means that you no longer have to mark your sweet spot. You can actually pick up lashes at the end of the tweezers, the very end, or anywhere in the middle. If you prefer a slightly less angled tweezer, I recommend the Katie. If you prefer more of a boot-shaped tweezer that's more straight up and down, I recommend the Sweetie. And if you prefer more of a traditional J curvature, I recommend the Maddie. Also, if you are very, very tight with your hands and you're someone that just prefers to use a little bit more pressure to know what you're doing, then I would recommend the Maddie tweezer. And if you're someone that has more of a light hand, you like to barely press your tweezer together in order to get it to grab, then the Sweetie tweezer is going to be for you. If you are someone that likes a little bit of both, this is a really straight tweezer, doesn't have a big apex here, the Katie tweezer is for you. The other similarities of these tweezers is they all feature a little ruler at the end of them. So you can do really fun things like map your clients out appropriately, see how long their naturals are or how far apart their eyes are from each other. They also all feature a place where you grab your tweezer, which is called the apex. Now, it's not visible on the Katie, but you grab all of your tweezers right here. Right here on the Maddie, where this little curvature ends, right here on the Katie, and right here on the Sweetie. That is where you are going to grip. You are going to grip using your middle finger and your thumb. You're not going to hold these totally like a pencil. Your middle finger and thumb is the only pressure that you need. All your other fingers are just there to relax, and your ring finger and your pinky can rest on your lash bed. They don't need to be up in the air shaking. They can rest comfortably on your lash bed. Next, we're going to need our adhesive and our Star Glass Adhesive palette. I have mine secured to the front of my tile using a big strip of 3M microfoam tape. And what this is going to do is create a little bit of friction so that if your client moves around and knocks your tray, it's not going to fall over. Look how beautifully it stays there. It stays on really well. We're going to take our adhesive. You're going to get a lot of use out of this adhesive. And what we were going to do is we're not going to overfill our adhesive. We're just going to fill our star right to the tip of it. You don't need to squish or squeeze this adhesive bottle to get it out because it works with gravity. So all you're going to need to do is just tip it over. And so that little drop of adhesive is just going to fall right out. Okay, you don't need to squeeze at all. This adhesive is well loved, so don't look at my nozzle. I'm just going to tip it over and let it drop, boop, fall right out, and fill in every single point of my star. Next, we are going to slide on in and grab some fibers. We're going to come slightly from behind at a little bit of an angle. See how I'm not completely parallel? I'm at a slight little angle, and I'm grabbing around 10 to 15 fibers. The bigger the fan, the more fibers you grab. A millimeter is going to be about 10 to 15 fibers. You can kind of see how big a millimeter is. It's not that many at all. Grab your group anywhere on your tweezer and peel that group of fibers straight towards your body. Your bases are going to be nice and loose because there's not a lot of tackiness on that strip there. Then you're going to move your hand to be slightly more upward, and you're still actually resting your hand on your bed. So your hand should never be shaky in the air. Every time I see a student shaking in the air, I tell them lower your hand and rest your wrist on your bed. We don't want to have it hovering and shaking in the air. Now dip your group of fibers to the bottom of your star. You can touch the bottom of these because they're only 0.5 millimeter deep. So you're not going to get too much adhesive, I pinky promise you. Dip to the bottom, move out towards the side of the star, and release your pressure to 50%. And there is your beautiful fan. Now, you didn't see my tweezer open. This is what my tweezer looks like with 100% pressure from my middle finger and my thumb. And when I say release your pressure a little bit, you're just gonna go from here to here. That's it. Your tweezer never opens at the tips. It just goes from here to here, like a little bouncing motion. Slide on in, peel those lashes straight toward your body. Don't lift up and don't squish down. Slightly angle your hand upwards while keeping your wrist on the bed. Dip into the bottom and release to 50%, and then put your pressure back to 100. That is how you're gonna make beautiful fans very, very quickly. Now there's so many ways to make your fans, but what we have found to be the most efficient method is to work with a glue tray rather than having your adhesive any further away from you or on your finger or your hand or anything like that, because it's so close to the lashes. So you only need to travel from here to here. That's a very short journey. Grab, peel straight towards you, slightly upward angle of your wrist, dip into the bottom and release. Then put your pressure back, and there's your beautiful fan. It's so important to get hands-on practice. So I encourage you to have your materials out in front of you and watch this video, and we can lash together. There you go. Grab right here, not much higher, not any lower. Peel straight toward your body. Now you can dip all the way to the bottom. Not all adhesive trays are created equally. Some are a little deeper and some are a little shallower, but these are just 0.5 millimeter deep, so I promise you can touch the bottom. Slide and release. There you go. You don't want to dip right at the tip of your star, and you don't want to dip right in the middle. You kind of want to dip towards the side of your star. And you can dip at the front point, either side point or the bottom point. And you kind of just slide to the side of your star. If your base comes out a little boxy, not to worry. You can utilize these empty star glass divots to kind of secure your fan before moving to the natural lash. Those little tips can really help you snatch the base of your fans. Just like so, with their slightly tapered cutout. There we go. Slide and release. That is a beautiful fan. Be proud of yourself every time you make a fan like that. Now let me tell you some things you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about where you grab your lash. You can grab them anywhere on your tweezer. So if it's most comfortable for you to grab right at the tip of your tweezer, you have the freedom to do so. If it's most comfortable for you to grab those fibers right at the end of your tweezer, that's fine too, because that crystal tip extends all the way to from the tip to the end. What also doesn't matter is how you manipulate those fibers on the strip. You do not have to wiggle them back and forth like so or shimmy them in order to get a fan that fans out. All you need to do is peel straight towards you. It couldn't be any easier. Now your adhesive divot will last as long as you need, and when it starts to get tacky like that and you start to see the center, then it's time for you to get a new adhesive divot. Let's get a new tray. Slide right in, peel those fibers straight toward your body. Get it an upward angle, dip into the star, and release. Look at how teeny tiny that base is. Grab, peel, dip, release. Beautiful. One thing I like to do, if my hand is feeling shaky while I'm learning a new technique, I like to actually use my other hand to hold my wrist. and I just hold it down so I remember to stay controlled, to keep my wrist firmly planted on my bed, and that other hand just kind of serves as a reminder to relax, don't lift my wrist up. And then when we're done practicing and we're actually lashing, then I'm gonna get to use my other hand to isolate while I make fans. That's the beautiful thing about hand making fans in this way, is we get to isolate with one of our hands and we get to make fans with the other. This technique is perfect if you're left or right-handed, does not matter. Peel straight towards us, dip to the bottom, release, come out of the star. That star shape makes a world of difference, trust me. Now, if a fan wicks up too much adhesive and it has a little bit of a lash pointing out down the bottom, this is a fan that I probably can't save. And that is perfectly fine. You win some, you lose some, but with this technique, you win most, so it's okay. There you go. A lot of issues that happen when we're in the glue tray are due to us releasing too much pressure or too little pressure. If our fan is way too narrow, you can bet that we didn't release enough pressure. Whereas if our fan opens up way too much and starts to fall over on one side or both sides, then we release too much pressure. So open your tweezer without ever opening the tips, taking it from here to here every time. Any more than that, the fan will drop, and any less than that, our fan will be too narrow. Beautiful. These tweezers make it an absolute breeze. I couldn't ask for more in a tweezer. There we go. Now it's also easier to grab more lashes when we make fans. When you're a beginner, don't just grab a few lashes. You can do that as you get more advanced and you can control your movements more. But if you are a beginner, I actually recommend that you are grabbing a lot more fibers than you typically would on a client, because then you're going to be able to feel those movements so much more intensely the more fibers you grab. And all those fibers can also rest upon each other. So if I'm making a 5D fan, I'm going to need to be extremely controlled. But if I am practicing, I'm going to want to make more like 25D fans, which obviously are too big to put on most people's natural lashes, but it's about teaching myself all of those little movements. And all of these little movements are best taught with more lashes. Now you can make very tiny fans. Beautiful. Look at that. But if this is your first day hand making, grab big groups, feel what it feels like to grab more lashes, because then you're going to be teaching yourself those movements, working with more. There you go. Remember, these are not fans you're putting on people yet. These are fans that are teaching you how to hand make lashes. People like to rush so much and think about the kind of lashes that they're going to do on their clients, the intricate maps they're going to do, the type of fans they're going to be making every day. But you have to take it in baby steps. Learn these movements first. That's why I recommend grabbing bigger groups of fibers to teach yourself. When you grab more fibers, those fibers can rest on each other, and it's going to help you learn about pressure. Get your brain used to that little pressure release. Beautiful. If your glue tray starts looking really messy and crazy like this, that's how you know you have a good practice session going on. Beautiful. Slide on in, peel straight towards you, dip and release, and wrap around the natural lash. Easy as can be. I'm so ready for the next generation of lash artists to actually experience the freedom of how easy making your own lashes can be. We've overcomplicated it for so many years. And it's so amazing how far products have come to make techniques like this unbelievably simple for people to learn in a matter of hours. I've had people watch me do this technique and on their first try start making fans that look like mine. Beautiful. Just study it. Don't rush. Don't cut corners. And trust that you're capable of doing it. Beautiful. Just a matter of seconds for each fan. Seconds. That's it. If it only takes you this long to make each fan, and your client has 300 natural lashes that you're applying fans to, you'll physically be done lashing in an hour, a little under a full hour. Isn't that incredible? It's so fast. It's so efficient. And to learn it and teach it is such a gift. Look at how many fibers I picked up. If you're a beginner, don't be scared of grabbing more fibers. It's to teach you. It's to teach you how much pressure to release. Beautiful. Last one. No lashes left behind. Good luck.